Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Mood616 here, and yes, I'm finally back with another Top 10 Tuesday episode for y'all tonight. This is episode 104, and for episode 104, I'm going to be breaking down my top 10 personal favorite killer clown films of all time. That is right, my personal picks, my personal favorites. So if yours is not on here, you know, that's just unfortunate because then you don't have the same taste as me. But it doesn't really matter. Who gives a shit anyways? It's all personal preference, right? Yeah, man, I love me some killer clown films. I just wish they actually made a lot more better ones. There's a ton of killer clown based horror films, but there's so many fucking bad ones out there. There really is a shitload of bad ones out there. It's actually hard to find even 10 good ones. I mean, you know, there was a few that I left off the list that were kind of iffy. They're fun, but not really the greatest and stuff, like Sloppy the Psychotic you will not see on this list, but that one's fun. It has actually one of the funniest moments I've ever seen in cinema history when he throws a kid on the barbecue. It's one of the funniest shit I've ever seen, but anyways, guys, yeah, I'm finally back here with another Top 10 Tuesday episode. Sorry I've not been answering a lot of comments and stuff. I've been so busy the last 2 months, as you probably noticed from my video output. But now I'm back on track and I'll be able to get up some more videos quite regularly here since it's the new year and it's the slow time. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into my top 10 killer clown flicks. Yes, taking it to 2006, I believe this one came out, and it's a film called Thru. Now, this is a film I actually didn't even see until about 4 or 5 years ago or something, rather. I didn't really have too much interest in checking it out. I hadn't really heard a lot of good things about it. In fact, I hadn't really heard too much about it at all. I ended up picking it up for like $1 or whatever, checked it out, and it actually kind of floored me a little bit. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. Solely because it was a lot different than I was expecting. I was expecting a very standard slasher film with a clown, you know, but what I got here was like a supernatural slasher film with a lot of different elements and stuff. It was very interesting to see. Basically what we got here is this this clown, this mascot of this burger joint called Hellburgers. He's called Horny the Clown, and he is basically terrorizing this main character. I think her name is Mackenzie, and yeah, and starts killing off her friends and stuff, and you know, she's got to figure out a way to stop this supernatural clown. It's a pretty interesting film, actually. There's a lot of good humor in this film, of course, with a film like this. A lot of good gore, just a lot of good things that are going on in this one. It was very surprising to see that it wasn't like overly 100% generic in its approach with, you know, just this, you know, embodied, you know, human killer clown. It was like all supernatural and shit. It's pretty interesting though, but give Thru a shot. It's different. It's kind of a different film, so yeah, Thru in at number 10. In at number 9 is probably one of the most overlooked and underrated films of the 1990s. And yes, the 1990s. And it is called Funny Man from 1994, with a special appearance from Christopher Lee in this one. This film right here, I basically hear no one ever mention or talk about. It's probably because no one has actually seen this film. This one right here is particularly a jester instead of a full-blown clown. Did a little bit of research before I was doing this video, and I just wanted to, you know, find all the difference between jesters and clowns, and it turns out jesters are basically the original clowns. So, you know, lo and behold, you'll see a couple jesters on this list, but they're all basically the same thing. Basically what the storyline is in Funny Man is this guy, he wins this mansion in this poker game against Christopher Lee's character, and so him and his family move into this home only to have his wife and kids murdered off by this insane clown. And of course he's expecting more visitors, and shit gets out of control from there and stuff. It's a really dark, humorous film. It's British comedy, so this quote on the front is actually quite interesting. Hammer Horror meets Monty Python in the most original British movie of the decade. There's really no films kind of like this one. I mean, there's even at times, I believe if my memory serves me correctly, that the jester even breaks the fourth wall in this film, starts talking to the camera and stuff. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm pretty sure he does. And in those moments they're ridiculous. They're fun. So right there, you know, it's not taking itself too seriously and stuff. So, but I highly recommend checking out Funny Man. This is a movie that needs a Blu-ray release. This was released by Subversive Films or whatever you want to call them. A label that was not around a whole long time, but they did that really amazing edition of Dust Devil and stuff. But if you can find this, man, check it out, man. Funny Man. I know it's out of print. The company is long gone and stuff, but maybe one day a cool company will release on Blu-ray. But Funny Man, check it out. Good shit, man. It's if you don't want to take a film serious, sit down and watch something funny, check out Funny Man. It's good shit. In at number 9. In at number 8 is, of course, Victor Salva's Clown House. This, of course, is a bootleg. I do not own an actual physical copy of, or a legit copy of Clown House. I was very unfortunate not to get one when they kind of got released and then got pulled. But yeah, Clown House. You know, it's an interestingly terrifying film, basically about these psychotic inmates that I think they escape this mental institution type deal, kill these clowns, kind of steal their identity and start terrorizing these boys in a house. Now, this film, to me, every time I watch this film now, it kind of sickens me a little bit knowing Victor Salva's history, but it's more to the fact that this movie kind of plays out like a perfect kind of fantasy for Victor Salva's, you know, for Victor Salva and what he's about. You know, he's a fucking child molester. But, you know, it's just got these moments in it. You know, there's boys topless, there's bare asses. And it just, you know, at the time this came out, I mean, you wouldn't have known until, you know, probably the time I've seen it. But, or whenever the shit broke, I can't remember back in the day. But it's interesting when you look back and watch this film. It kind of plays out like a fantasy for Victor Salva. But I will give him credit, though. You know, all shitty things aside, Victor Salva is actually a good filmmaker. You know, you can't quite judge his films based on his personal events. But no, he really knows how to set up some good shit. There's some good cinematography in this film. It's frightening at times, and it's a very generic story, you know, a terrorizing story. But you know, it's got some really good moments, and I do highly recommend Clown House. You know, it's too bad this film will probably never get another legit release, just based on the history of the main actor in the film being molested and things like that. If you guys don't know the story, go check it out. But yeah, it's very unfortunate because this is a very hard film to get a hold of, like a physical copy. This was actually something that was made for me by the Horror Man. If you guys remember his channel, if you're new to my channel, he hasn't made videos in a long time. He gave this to me about 5-6 years ago or something like that. But yeah, Clown House, good shit, man. It's a fun film. Pretty tantalizing at times. It's kind of freaky and shit. So. But yeah, that was in at number 8. In at number 7 is Marcus Koch's 100 Tears. Yeah, Marcus Koch, man. I wish Marcus Koch would actually direct more films. I mean, he's mostly known as a special effects guy. He's worked on hundreds of films doing special effects. He most recently directed the American Guinea Pig Bloodshock film, which I will have a review coming up for possibly tomorrow for that, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. But yeah, he really hasn't directed a whole lot of films. He's directed a kind of an indie kind of shot on video film named Rot and stuff, but this is his kind of his shining moment, I guess, with 100 Tears. Basically about this guy that he gets wrongfully accused of some crimes and stuff, and then he goes on a revenge spree and starts taking out everyone that was responsible for his downfall. And a very, very gory slasher film, very typical of Marcus Koch's work, because if you're familiar with the effects that he's done on some of the films that he's worked on, you know that they're very gory and very good. So if you're into very gory slasher films, actually the acting in this, I think the acting was actually a lot better in this film as I was anticipating it to be. But yeah, this is the extended director's cut from Unearthed Films, so it's got a little bit more footage in it and stuff, but I highly recommend 100 Tears, man. It's fucking awesome. It's a great film. It's too bad that the sequel 102 Tears, was it 102? Yeah, 100. It didn't meet. I think it was a Kickstarter or something. Yeah, it failed. So that film is not going to be made. So that's very unfortunate. But yeah, I guess I can kind of blame myself too. I was going to contribute to it and completely forgot about it. And by the time I remembered, it was over and it had failed. So. But 100 Tears, check it out, man. Really good film. Still in print by Unearthed, so you can get your hands on it. That was in at number 7. In at number 6, might surprise some people. It's so low on the list, but you know, it's just the way these lists go. They're all subjective, and it's just the way it is. Not a big deal. And that's Stephen King's It. You know, I recently watched this film again, and you know, after I hadn't seen it in years, and you know, over the years, it just kind of depleted in value to me. I forgot really how good this film was. Besides the ending, I think this movie is really good all the way up until probably the last like 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the film. But you know, even the ending has its moments, but this one just has some of the greatest character development, you know, with the kids and, you know, the adults, and just a lot of good horrifying visions and stuff. Pennywise is such a menacing character, just like the whole idea of this clown just kind of doing what he's doing. He's terrorizing and killing kids and shit. It's a freaky, you know, idea for a film. But yeah, this one here, man, had John Ritter, one of my favorite actors. You know, I was such a big fan of John Ritter growing up. Everything from fucking Three's Company to he starred in one of my favorite films, Stay Tuned, and that's a film that needs a Blu-ray release. Stay Tuned, I absolutely love that film. I still watch it all the time. And I always felt bad for him the way he died in Bride of Chucky, the fucking nails in the face. It's good stuff, but I always felt bad for him. But yeah, Stephen King's It, man. It's a good film. It's long, but you know, it's still really good. It's really good, even though the ending is not really the greatest, but, you know, could have been better. I'm very curious to check out the remake. The stills I've seen of the new Pennywise, I'm not overly thrilled with the look, but, you know, that's, of course, gonna happen because that's probably everyone's thoughts right now, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing it. I usually don't say that about remakes, but I'm curious to see what they do with it. So, yeah. Stephen King's It. In at number 6. In at number 5 is a Spanish film that goes by the name of The Last Circus. Now, this one right here is it's just a demented and horrifyingly funny film. This one is like a dark comedy drama / horror film, basically about these two nutty clowns, you know, these circus goers, that are both fighting for this one girl right here. And it just turns into a bloody mess. And it's just fucking ridiculous, man. This one has the greatest kind of tonal switches in the film that actually do work well for the material, because at times I think if it was taking itself serious the whole time, it probably wouldn't have been as good. But, you know, it has this such kind of dark humor that makes you laugh one minute, next minute you're just horrified by the violence. And I heard that, you know, when this one was playing in the I believe in the festivals and stuff, it was getting bad reviews based on the violent aspects of this film, and I just don't understand how you could use that as, you know, a bad thing. But, you know, this one everyone needs to check out. The Last Circus, man. It's a really good film and has you laughing one minute and going damn the next. So that's good shit, man, right there. Last Circus. It's a Spanish film, so it's subtitled. Don't be lazy, read it. Even says subtitled right on there. Obviously I got this as a rental copy, but $2, whatever, or whatever it was. Yeah, that was number 5. Into number 4 is one that I actually finally just recently watched. Finally got my hands on it from my boy Derek. He sent me over a copy of this, and that is Clown, directed by John Watts. I didn't really know much about this film except for it was just kind of notorious for not having a release. Obviously, I knew about the movie for years. It had a UK limited release, and everyone's wondering why I didn't have one over here. Finally got one. But, you know, after all that kind of sitting on this movie Clown, I never really looked in. I never seen a trailer for it, and I never checked out synopsis, which I try to do. I try to avoid lots these days. I like going into films quite blindly. This one really blew my soul. I wasn't expecting this type of storyline. It was really cool because basically what we got here is this guy right here, it's his son's birthday, and this clown got double booked for his son's party, so he decided to put on this clown suit that he finds. And what he doesn't know, it's actually like a real clown suit. It's actually skin, and, you know, the hair is real and shit. So, and he can't get it off, and he slowly starts turning into this demon who basically feasts on little children and stuff. And, you know, I'll stop storyline there, but this one is really fucking good, man. I was really mesmerized by this film. I was not expecting the balls this film actually really did have. I mean, when you're going to take out kids the way they were killing kids in this film, it had me going high-fiving myself because honestly, I don't want kids to die, but I mean, in film, it's fake, and I just find it so polarizing when people do that. They have the balls to kill kids off like that, and it was over and over in this film too, so that's pretty interesting. I think that's very ballsy, but overall, very good film, very well acted. I thought the effects were awesome in this film. I thought storyline was really cool. Just everything about this one was awesome, man. Check out Clown. I thought it was really good. I can't believe the amount of hate that this film was getting. I don't understand what people were seeing or what they weren't seeing in this. I really don't get it, but Clown, In at number 4. In at number 3 is another one of those Jester films, and that is Slaughter High, also known as Jolly Killer in the UK. This is the Arrow DVD release, which is right now the best release to get of it. It's actually anamorphic widescreen and uncut. So, you know, if you have one of those shitty American ones, like I do, I have a couple of those also, which are full screen and stuff. They are uncut, but this is the version to get right now. Hopefully it gets a Blu-ray release sometime in the future, and I'm sure it will, probably by Vestron. But yeah, basically this is just a revenge film about this guy named Marty. These school folks that play a prank on him, it goes horribly wrong, and then about 10 years later, or whatever it is, I can't even, he basically summons, in a way, gets all these kids back to the school where he starts picking them off one by one. This one has one of the most amazing theme songs to it ever. It's just so polarizing. It's awesome. It's so catchy. Gets in your head for weeks. The kills are awesome, man. The funniest thing about this movie, Carolyn Monroe's in this film, and I think she was 36 at the time, playing like an 18-year-old. She is so damn beautiful at 36, but she should have been playing an 18-year-old, even though she still looked pretty fucking young. But I always like this film, man. It definitely has its plot holes and things like that, but it's definitely a fun film. It has so much damn replay value, probably because of that stupid theme song in it, but you know, but yeah, Slaughter High, you can't go wrong, man. Good shit. In at number 3, in at number 2 is one that I've talked about a million times, Ross Noble and Stitches. This movie is just, it's so good, man. It's so much fucking replay value to it, too. It's just amazing shit. Basically another kind of revenge story about Stitches the Clown, who gets killed at this kid's birthday party. 10 years later, he comes back from the dead after these kids have kind of all got together, and they're going to have the party of all parties, and he shows up at that party only to pick them off one by one. I've said many times the kills are fantastic in this. The one-liners are awesome. The kills are inventive. Also, they're not just like your standard kills. They're actually quite inventive. Good one-liners. Ross Noble kills this role as Stitches the Clown. The music in this film is just amazing. Not only does it have some of the best musical cues I've ever seen in a film, it just fits so perfectly. Like the actual music is just great. Really good stuff, man. I love everything about Stitches. I love the atmosphere of this film too. It's just great. But yeah, you can't go wrong with Stitches. It is awesome shit, man. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen it and you didn't like it, what was wrong with you, man? But anyways, Stitches in at number 2. And of course, you guys probably all guessed it. In at number 1 is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I love this movie. This is probably by far not the best movie on this list, but this is not how I make my list, as you guys know this. Killer Clowns is my favorite one. I love this movie. I've watched this movie hundreds of times. There's something mesmerizing and polarizing about this film that I just cannot get over. How fucking ridiculously stupid this film is, and how much it just works on every level of humanity. It's just so funny how this thing just works for me. I mean, you know, you got guns that shoot popcorn, and you got these huge cotton candy things, and these fucking spaceships shaped like tents, circus tents. It's just ridiculous. Everything about this film is just amazing. It's so good. It's goofy, it's silly, it's fun. It's got a great soundtrack to it. And the clowns are just absolutely so funny. They're just like midgets and little clowns. It's so funny, man. But yeah, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Absolutely love the film. And wow, this is probably one of the longest Top 10 Tuesday videos I've made in a while. But yeah, to let's do a little recap on here. In at number 10, we've got Drive Thru. In at number 9, we've got Funny Man. Number 8, Clown House. Number 7, 100 Tears. Number 6, It. Number 5, The Last Circus. Number 4, Clown. Number 3, Jolly Killer, aka Slaughter High. Number 2, Stitches. And of course, number 1, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That is going to do it for my top 10 personal picks for Killer Clown flicks of all time. I know there's lots of other good ones out there. I did leave off House of a Thousand Corpses because I wanted to pick films that actually had specifically revolving around a killer clown, not just having a clown in the film. So if you're writing a comment down below before you clicked off this part in the video, that's your explanation for it. Yeah, I wanted the sole thing to be the clown, not just have a clown in it. So, but yeah, I thought this was actually a pretty good list. Sloppy and Psychotic was one I left off, but that movie is funny as hell to me. It's bad, but it's fun. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this episode. I'll try to make these videos a little more regularly. Sorry for the last, I guess I didn't do one for like 3 weeks, but like I said, just schedule craziness. And I'm about to watch The Barn. I got the shit in today, so yes, I'm going. I've got it all queued up right here on the TV. Got my candle burning. Oh, it actually just stunk in my basement. I don't know, I was farting a lot or something. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna finally check out The Barn. Been super stoked to check this out. Kind of a weird one to watch after the New Year, you know, and Christmas, because it's a Halloween-based film. So, but anyways, check you guys later, and as usual, peace.